Greetings, greetings, greetings. You are now tuned into the vault. Trust Christian, own nothing, control everything. Just want to thank you for tuning in live or listening to replay. Always appreciate everyone for tuning in live or listening to replay. This is the vault, episode 235, tangible versus intangible assets. We always appreciate you all for tuning in live or listening to replay. It's going to be a great episode. And just thank you for listening to replay. We know this is a pop-up episode, so a bunch of people are going to listen to replay. And anybody that listen live, we always appreciate you all. Just wanted to do a quality episode about something that we talked to our mentors, conversations that we've had throughout the years about tangible and intangible assets. Because sometimes, the intangible assets, everybody says they're priceless. Their life is priceless. And then we get pretty much most of the population working for money. So now they have their their whole being that has been equated to a monetary value. And so this episode is to address some of those thoughts that people may have, how they pursue them, how they can engage in things that transcend time and distance. When people talk about the priceless, when people talk about the intangible, they can really see that there is a lot of value in the intangible. And one of the things to point out early in the episode is just talking about uh, talking about gold as an tangible asset, but it's really intangible, and how man continues to attach these tangible values on things. So we just want to address those things. Shout out everybody for tuning in live. Appreciate everybody for tuning in live, especially Brooklyn right now. They already typed into the chat. If you want to type into the chat where you're listening from, that's always greatly appreciated. Uh, but this episode is to address once again the thought process. We'll address some of the common conversations that we have coming to the vault. So they're sitting in the public. People come to the vault and they say, well, oh, my birth certificate is worth, $1,000 or $1 billion, and the government owes me something. Through some type of hypothecation method that they've used. They've used nefarious ways to calculate my value, and I don't appreciate that. And so now people are trying to capitalize off of these thought processes that the government owes them something, because they have a birth certificate with the states or whoever, wherever you are in the world, if you use those type of documents. But these are documents, actually, ladies and gentlemen, that actually talk about human capital having actual financial value. A lot of people are not aware that human capital is a tangible asset. It's been quantified and monetized. So when we talk about that, people say, well, if they created the government, so-called, if they created this intangible, value, how is it that I'm not capitalized off it? Why am I not capitalized off it? How do I capitalize off it? If the government is supposedly making money off of my birth certificate, has some type of fund based off of my birth certificate, whatever. One of the things that we propose to people is, think about it. If the government is the people, let's always start there. The government is the people. They're not separate from you. People get voted in and out of office. There are bodies. That's why they call them administrations. These are people that come in and serve terms. So let's be very clear about who the government is and who the public servants are, such as the politicians and things of that nature. But when we talk about greetings, Alaska, for turning live. When we talk about tangible versus intangible assets, this is where we get into things that transcend time and distance. You hear a lot of times, one of the things that's intangible that you'll commonly see is when an artist passes away, how their work or their body of work is considered intangible asset at that point, because it transcends times and this, that person's not around anymore. Their work is still being perpetuated in perpetuity. And this is something that when you come to the vault and you go through trustee training, you actually realize that. You see, wow, I'm creating an intangible asset. Why? Because trust don't die. Why do you think human capital has a monetized value attached to it, like gold has a monetary value attached to it? Because it's in limited quantities. Supposedly you can only work a certain number of hours in a day. So there's a lifespan to who you are. There's a tangible value that's been associated to you. And one of the things that we always ask people that go through our training program is, how much are you worth? Appreciate Illinois for tuning in live. It's because people say, "Oh, I'm not. I'm priceless." Ladies and gentlemen, human capital has a value. Human capital has a tangible monetary value, whether it's hourly, and traditionally it's based off of the task or the work, not just hourly. People say, "Oh, I'm priceless," though. Right. We already know in the private, ladies and gentlemen, that everything has a value. So when we talk about intangible value, your intangible value is what can you create right now that will last forever? You all hear about the Rothschilds. You all hear about the Rockefellers. You hear about names like Mansa Musa through history. You all hear about Martin Luther King. You all hear about these people that their legacy is the intangible value. What legacy are you leaving for your family that's intangible? What vehicle are you in? Are you in a Honda or are you in a Ferrari? Because guess what? Some people are going to beat you to the finish line if they have a Ferrari and you just have a Honda. That's a fact. On a straight line, quarter mile, the Ferrari stock is always going to beat the Honda. Some people are riding around in Hondas, ladies and gentlemen. And the best part about life is you get to choose based off of your free will and your work ethic whether you're going to drive a Honda or a Ferrari. Now, if you're hanging around people that don't think you should be riding in a Ferrari, do you want to ride in a Ferrari? Because if you want to ride in a Ferrari, that's a choice. Just like your choice to ride in a Honda, it's a choice. Intangible value deals with your choices. Are you making choices every single day to create a legacy in perpetuity? Are you investing in yourself and your education that much? Or are you investing in someone else's job because of programming? Saying, "Oh, I've been programmed this way, Trust Christian. I've always done this, Trust Christian. I've been doing this for so long, Trust Christian. I don't know what I want to do yet completely, Trust Christian." Well, you might want to attach a value to it rather quickly. The faster you attach a value, which is driving in a Ferrari, you got to get there faster. You got to get to the decision faster. You'll actually see that you're creating that intangible value for yourself. So many people are creating value for others, but what value are you creating for yourself? How can people save others by putting the mask on others before they put it on themselves? The vault has always been a charitable venture because it's to give to others. But we can't save others before we save ourselves. See, there's a lot of poor righteous teachers out there. Oh, they're saving the planet. They're saving this person, saving that person. Ladies and gentlemen, the vault has already created the intangible value by putting in the work for others. But the vault has to also maintain a sense of self. The vault has to go out and create value for self. What assets is the vault acquiring? What assets are your vaults acquiring? Did you create assets for yourself, or are you out just giving out free game to everybody that you deal with? See, it's about tangible and intangible assets. Some people say, "Well, what about all these different things? Shouldn't living in a house be free?" Ladies and gentlemen, human capital has been monetized for a long time now. The group consciousness says this is where we are. What are you going to do about it? Are you going to get along with the group consciousness and be an agreeable, or are you going to be a disagreeable and try to enslave people so you don't have to work? Because that's what it is. Creating a tangible and intangible asset deals with putting in the work. Some people say, which ones are more valuable? Are the intangible assets more valuable than the tangible assets? Ladies and gentlemen, they coincide with each other. That's the beautiful part about it. But you having only intangible assets, saying you're priceless, does not help you have tangible assets. But working on having tangible assets allows you to produce and hold and pass along something that's intangible. That's work. Think about it. If you work for gold and silver right now at the price that it is today, when you give it to your children, it's actually going to be worth more money. Gold and silver has never went to zero, so it's not really going to go back too far. But if you don't hold it right now, if you're not acquiring it right now for your family, what happens when we get out 10 more years? You think it's going to be cheaper? What happens when we get out 20 more years? You think it's going to be cheaper? That's a preservation of tangible wealth. It's a preservation of human energy, something that can't be quantified. It holds the intangible value in the tangible. So why should you acquire gold and silver, the precious metals, platinum, palladium, and rhodium? Why? Why collect collectible art? Because these are assets that are more valuable tomorrow than they are today. You actually know that. See, you can predict the intangible. You can predict it. But you have to work for the tangible. Everything tangible, there's a trade-off involved. There is no something for nothing. See, intangible, you can listen to the vault all you want. But are you really getting value? No, you just listen. What happened to putting in that work? See, people think you don't learn by doing. You learn by doing, not by reading a book. You don't learn just by listening. You learn by doing. Hold on, it can't be true for everybody, Trust Christian. Okay, is everybody created equal? Are all lawyers created equal? Are all accountants created equal? Are all presidents created equal? No. Some people put in more work than others. So, where's your tangible value at nowadays, ladies and gentlemen? We're challenging you all to increase your tangible value. So when you do leave, your intangible value is exponential. It cannot be quantified, but it's always generating tangible wealth for the heirs. The way that you do that is by putting yourself in the correct position. You got to do the intangible work right now. You got to study, but you got to do the work. So that's tangible. You got to get around the right people. That's tangible. How valuable are your relationships right now? Well, I love my family. Love is intangible. Everybody loves to say love is intangible. But what happened to the work of getting around people that are smarter than you? What happened to the work of getting around people that can truly help your bank account out? That can help you organize your life better. So many people say, oh, I have bad time management. So why didn't you get around someone that has good time management? Or are you around friends and family that you love them? Because that's intangible. We're talking about the ones that can help you produce the tangible results. We're going to tell you, the vault has always made these conscious decisions to get around people that can help them and push them to get the tangible assets. Because no one wants to hear intangible while you're living. No one wants to hear that. They want to hear tangible results. What does your house look like? What does your bank account look like? What type of clothes are you wearing? Are you clean? Are you dirty? How are you traveling? Are you traveling around commercially or are you traveling around privately? That is the call of the day. Is people want you to show and prove. Intangible, not always easy to show and prove. Tangible is you pull it out, you show it. It's tangible. Ladies and gentlemen, this is where you can become more valuable for the rest of your life by creating more tangible assets for your family. Taking your intangible energy and creating tangible assets. Intangible assets are good, but they don't always pay the bill. Love doesn't always pay the bills. But the friends that you associate with that can help you pay the bills in time of dire need, see, that's tangible. This is a very important conversation about tangible and intangible assets, because you have to figure out now, are you going to be the lover of people or are you going to be the true empowerer? How do you empower people? You got to show them a better way of living. People think, oh, you got to pull them out the dirt. You don't need to pull your friends and family out the dirt. You got to show better. What they say, one of the stepfather used to always say you got to show me better than you could tell me. See, talking, that's tangible. That's what people think the vault just does. But when you know that the vault is still surviving and thriving off of just trustee training, growing tangible assets, because we don't just talk about it, we're in the environments with the ones that are holding even more tangible assets. 1 million, 2 billion assets under management, trillions of dollars assets under management. See, though you don't think that those are tangible because it has a number with AUM next to it. That's a joke. These people own businesses. They own human capital. That's how serious it is. So what are you producing that's tangible in your job? Are you producing intangible assets? Are you producing tangible assets? Because you actually have the opportunity, because of free will and the way the universe is set up, for you to create tangible assets and intangible assets at the same exact time. But neglecting tangible assets for intangible assets says you don't want to attach a monetary value to it yet. We're going to wait for the intangible asset price to come on the back end. Remember, somebody asks you how much you're worth, you say you're priceless. But guess what? When you die, you can't dictate anymore. Somebody's just going to say, hey, I'm willing to pay for this song. I'm willing to pay for this piece of work. The price may go up exponentially, but it's intangible at that point. You have the opportunity to create intangible and tangible assets. Gold and silver will help you preserve your human energy right now, because you already know gold and silver is going to be the cheapest today that it'll ever be. Why do you think it has a value attached to it, just like your human energy has a value attached to it? Because it's a limited amount on planet Earth. Bottom line. People say, oh, there's no limits in the universe. That's the intangible talk. Oh, there's no limits in the universe. It's intangible. Ladies and gentlemen, things, they say energy is never created or destroyed. Have you had family members pass away? Yeah, they had a tangible time clock here. Their energy is intangible. Their physical body was tangible. See, now we can attach a value to your physical body. That's what has happened in the public marketplace. We know why do you think insurance is the oldest, longest, strongest business in the world? Insurance. Because they can do calculations. They practice universal mathematics. They practice calculations. Well, if you don't eat right, we know you're going to die soon. We know that if you smoke, you're probably going to go soon. We know if you drink, you're likely to get into an accident. See, they did calculations, mathematical calculations. They do statistics. They create values, tangibles, off of the intangible. That's what they do in insurance. So there is a tangible value to your labor. You're not going to wake up, be born into planet Earth, and be worth $100 million because your birth certificate is given over to a corporation to issue a certain amount of money. Because you know what? They actually know based off your social security number or wherever you are in the world, numbers that you get, they know based off of the people that come from that area doing statistics how much money you're going to produce throughout your lifetime. The people that are born and either move or people that stay. They have statistics on this information. They created a tangible value. You should research how much people are worth based off of your zip code. What's the median income for your zip code? It's the average, right? The best of the worst and the worst of the best. So it's not even the top players in your environment. Are you hanging around the top players in your environment? Why are they the top players in your environment? Because they're creating tangible value. They're hiring people. They're creating products off of their belfry of their mind. That's what it's all about, ladies and gentlemen. Creating tangible value. Residual value. That creates the intangible value. But you already know your job, if you have a job, doesn't create intangible value. You do. So you could leave and that job will be worth nothing to you. But you could leave and do something somewhere else and create more tangible value and intangible value. You have a choice to do that, ladies and gentlemen, to create tangible value for your family today. Not tomorrow, today. When do we start Trust Christian? When we start Trustee Training? Today. Well, I need to know how much it is first so I can save up. You start Trustee Training when you invest in yourself. Bottom line. Well, isn't the free and tangible information invested in myself? Once again, people get free information all the time. That's why it's intangible. Because it's borderline free. You think the internet that you're listening on is free? It's not. The cell phone or the computer you're listening to, you think it's free? It's not. So there is some type of tangible value that you are having to pay. Even your tangible time is leaving right now. Think about how many people have bad time management skills because they don't quantify their time. Do you know how many minutes are in a day? There's 1,440. So if you only made $1 for every minute of every day, you would only make $1,000. And at the end of every single month in the Gregorian calendar, 30 days, you would have over $50,000. If you made it a point to make $1 every single minute of every single day. But people want to work for hours, 40 hours a week, but they still got quantified in that hour, in minutes. You got to get detail oriented. You got to play the game to win. How much are you worth? Get a value attached to it. That's what this episode's about. It's about your intangible value versus your tangible value. Everything outside of you is intangible. How much is something worth? Whatever somebody's willing to pay for it. But what are you worth? If you're around people that don't think they're worth anything, what do you think you're going to think? You're going to tie these conversations about things that they're not valuable. It's important to be around people that value you at the level in which you ask them to value you. What value do you have associated with yourself? Oh man, I just want to make $1 million in my life. By the time I retire, most people don't even know. By the time they reach 30, they already done made $1 million, or at least $500,000 in the United States. They don't even know that because they didn't go to the IRS. They didn't get their individual master file. They don't know how much money they truly made because they were calculated. They were listening to what someone else around them told them. Guess what? File your taxes once a year. You know you can do that quarterly, right? You know you can do that biannually, right? You know that actually you can file taxes whenever you want in a single calendar year before the year ends. Did you know that? Just to be up to date. Hey, we just wanted to file early. What's wrong with filing early? Are you programmed into failure? Into playing not to lose? Well, I got to do it before the penalty hits. Or are you focused on creating value for the marketplace? That's where we are in 2020. How much value are you creating tangibly for yourself and for others? That's it. And you can preserve your labor and hard tangible assets. You preserve it though. Other people purchase your intangible asset, don't they? When people take your time, what you say is intangible. When people take your love, which people say is intangible. But when somebody takes money from you, is that intangible or tangible? Some people don't look at $1 or $100 the same way. Some people look at $100 like it's $1. Did y'all know that? Some people look at $100 like it's $1 because they have so much tangible capital. They have so much monetary financial capital that $100 to them is like $1. They equate that in their mind. $1,000 to them is $100. See, it's perception. What is your perception of yourself? What is your tangible price on your head? No one else can dictate to you. Not the Social Security Administration, not the President of the United States, not anybody. Who dictates that to you is yourself. Some people say, well, I don't know how much I'm worth. I don't know where to go to get this value for myself. You can reach out to the vault. We'll do a reading for you so you can know your purpose. Because at the vault, you have to know your purpose. You have to know your reason for being. If you don't know what your spiritual energies are, how are you going to know how tangibly valuable you could be? Maybe you're doing work that's not meant for you. That's intangible. But if you're doing the work that's meant for you, like Trust Christian in the Vault, we already know that we're great communicators. We've heard this our whole life. But it was a confirmation to our affirmation. We already know we're great communicators at the vault. You have to be when you're in trust. You have to be a leader when you're in trust. Otherwise, you're the beneficiary. They're the recipient. It's about knowing your value. And when you want to know your value, sometimes you do have to get a confirmation to your affirmation. What do you say to yourself the most? Do you say you're a millionaire? We had a trustee tell us the other day that they asked their child, this was about 16 years old, do you think you could be a millionaire? And they hesitated because it wasn't conveyed yet. But it was good to check the pulse. Ask your children, ask your family, do they really think they could be a millionaire? And if they hesitate, you know they don't. No. You have to know it. Not just believe it. You have to know it. You have to know how much you're worth so you can know how much you're supposed to collect. Now, if you believe that you're worth something, then you'll believe it'll come to you. But that's intangible. See, knowing is what we can demonstrate. Accurate, demonstratable knowledge is at the vault. It's not the theories. See, we read court cases in the vault. Those are tangible. not intangible. Well, I heard about these people and they get into trust and then, it doesn't always work out for everybody. Right. But when we go into when you get into the vault, we're going over case law to tell you the victories. We don't tell you the failures, the intangibles, because it's a bunch of those. We tell you the victories, the tangible things you can stand on. When you come into the vault and you come to our trust presentations, when you come to our vault presentations, we go over the law. That's tangible. And for all you all that don't believe in the law or know about the law, hey, people get speeding tickets. If you're obeying the speeding law, you believe in some type of law. You believe in some type of governing body, whether it's the universe or man. But oh no, I don't believe in speeding tickets. I don't believe in driver's license trust, Christian. Okay. But for all you all that obey the law, there's a law. It has to be accurate, demonstratable knowledge. The court cases show you how to win. They keep you in compliance. But how many people are seeking failure? Seeking not to lose. And then but what you're seeking, you end up finding it. Seeking to lose. Seeking not to lose. Why aren't you just playing to win? Going for broke. Playing to win. Leaving it all out there. We thought about that yesterday at the vault, about how in life there's a entrepreneur mentor that we work with, Dame Dash, and he always talks about putting out the money. When you receive the money in as an entrepreneur, you put it right back out in the street. You put it right back into the investment. So you're always claiming that you're broke. But he says it from a perspective of reinvesting. It's not necessarily broke. It's always reinvesting. By you always reinvesting and creating tangible value, going for broke, you're never broke. Because that wasn't your true intention. Your true intention was to create assets that were intangible, but you had to keep the tangible assets coming just as much as the intangible assets coming. That's what it's all about, ladies and gentlemen. And guess what? If you don't think that your words hold tangible value, stop speaking. Stop listening to other people speak and see how valuable it is. Don't read books. No words at all. See, in the beginning there was the Word. That's right. In the beginning was the Word. So the Word has value. The Word has value. It has a numerical value. Because the only language is universal language, which is numbers. It has value. Ladies and gentlemen, we understand and know these things at the vault. We study the tangible and the intangible, but one does not come before the other. And usually the tangible is something that we focus on growing, because the intangible grows off the tangible. So what are you going to do? Are you going to create tangible value for the world that leads over into intangible value? Or is it going to be a continuous thing of, I just want to study, I just want to read, I don't want to get out of my comfort zone? Think about it. Where's the intangible value? It's outside your comfort zone. That creates more value, more tangible value. Ladies and gentlemen, appreciate you all for tuning in live or listening to replay. Tangible versus intangible assets. Are you focusing on just intangible, the love, the ooey gooey loving feeling? Or are you focused on preserving your labor in gold and silver, platinum, palladium, or rhodium, knowing that literally gold and silver and all these assets are going to be worth more in the future than they are right now, because you can deductively reason and predict that there is an intangible value that needs to be monetized right now, which is your energy, and preserving that energy in hard, tangible assets, creating what's called collateral in the universe. The universe gives us collateral. It gives us the moon. It gives us the sun. It gives us things to observe. Our value. Isn't time a value? People say, oh, I don't believe in time. There's no such thing as time. If there's no such thing as time, how do we measure our energy? We measure our energy through time. But we can also create things called collateral. The sun and moon are collateral. They show us, back to us, ourselves. Just like gold and silver, when you purchase it, it actually shows you you're worth something, because other men now have attached the intangible value to it. And it doesn't just end there. Appreciate you all for tuning live, listening to replay. Feel free, reach out Christian at trustchristian.com. Thank you all for listening. Enjoy the rest of your day.